Welcome back, friends, to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you love Pokemon Creepypastas, and comment down below with which characters that you want to see us do a Creepypasta video on next. With that, and I'm sorry to all the Eevee fans out there, we bring you the Scariest Eevee Creepypastas Part 2. Our first creepypasta is based on a story called Smiley, written by a user named CreepyEevee on DeviantArt.com. It's called Smiley because our protagonist finally gains an Eevee on his team and he decides to name it Smiley, well, because little Eevee is so cute that it makes him smile. He built his team and managed to get them to the Pokemon Tower before bedtime, although because he couldn't sleep, he picks up his Game Boy and jumps back in. He hadn't seen the Pokemon Soul Silver game at night yet, so he was very excited to say the least. The first difference he noticed was that Smiley was standing in front of him, and there was no other characters around, including the usual guy who blocks the entrance to the Pokemon Tower. At first he was perplexed by this, but curiosity got the better of him and he decided to explore the tower, now that no one was guarding it. Upon entering, the screen cuts to black and a strangled Eevee cry blared through his speakers, followed by a text box appearing that read, "Get out. Get out." Then his Smiley was missing and a ghost warned him saying Smiley was one of them. Get out. And as soon as he spots his Eevee, they engage in a battle. When Smiley's sprite comes up, its fur was dark gray with the tip of its tail looking torn and white. Its eyes were two glowing white circles and its smirk was now stretched across its face. When its first Pokemon came out to fight it, Smiley immediately used Cursed, which resulted in his Pokemon dying. After that, a white noise blared through his speakers while the Eevee told the trainer to, again, get out. Almost immediately his Game Boy shut itself off and refused to turn back on until the Soul Silver game was removed. This next scary Eevee Creepypasta story is based on one called Chapter 1 by an author known as Black Knight Chan on DeviantArt as well, which seems to be the only place for Eevee Creepypastas, but nonetheless, here's how it goes. It involves another creepy interaction with the game Soul Silver. When the protagonist loaded it up, the writing for the game title seemed darkened and splattered with blood. The gamer entered Bellsprout Tower with his Espeon and his Umbreon, where he was shocked to find pixelated pools of blood where each of the NPCs used to stand. The gamer loved creepypastas and had heard about hack games before, so they kept exploring hoping to find something else. A text box soon appeared that said, "You are responsible for my death." The music then turned into a slowed down demonic version of the Lavender Town theme, and in front of him was an Eevee. Except it wasn't just any normal Eevee. It was an Eevee from Pokemon Fire Red that he used to have in his party. I say used to because this Eevee had died in battle and was never recovered before he started playing Soul Silver. They entered into a battle and the Eevee looked zombie-like. Its eyes were blank, its fur was torn in places showing the bone, and the blood from its torn ear would make anyone feel sick. The Eevee attacked first, biting the Espeon, resulting in it not being able to move. Slowly its health bar declined, and then as the screen flashed white, the Espeon began looking just like the zombie Eevee. Soon the same thing happened to the Umbreon, and the Eevee had turned his party into Pokemon zombies. He immediately shut off his 3DS, never to pick it up again, for fear that his Pokemon would turn him as well. This next Eevee Creepypasta is based on a story written by a user named Somimatsu, and it's called Win or Lose. The protagonist loved his Eevee and would always use it to battle his friend, but because his friend had legendary Pokemon, he would always lose. His mother believed her son was addicted to playing Pokemon, so threw away his DS, but he managed to save the Heart Gold cartridge. Years later, he managed to buy his own DS and began replaying his Heart Gold game. He never forgot about losing to his friend, so for the sake of nostalgia, he challenged him again. And when the Eevee fainted, both of their games froze, and a text box appeared on his friend's DS that said, "I want a rematch," in all caps. Confused by this, they selected yes. What happened next shocked them both. The Eevee began disemboweling his friend's legendary Pokemon. He told Somi to stop this madness, but there was nothing they could do. The Eevee didn't stop, and then a text box then read, "Win or lose, you'll never see your beloved Pokemon again." This next Eevee Creepypasta is based on a story called Evolution Era written by a user named Derek the Vaporeon. The protagonist creates their very own Pokemon sprite, which is a mix of some of the evolutions from Eevee, and they decided to call it the Umbreon. The sprite was a dream of his, but could never become a reality because of the limits of the game. However, while playing Pokemon, he got an odd message from his Eevee that read, "Master, I just heard that you want your dream to become a reality." Confused by this, he hit yes. Nothing happened at first, but when he entered into some tall grass, he encountered a wild Espeon. The Eevee was level 99, so it made quick work of the Espeon. The Eevee then took on an enormous amount of XP though, which was confusing, and then immediately entered into another battle, started with an Umbreon. The same thing happened, and as the screen flashed rapidly, his Eevee began evolving on its own. It soon became the Umbreon that he had imagined, and every NPC in the game seemed terrified of this new Pokemon and would avoid him at all costs. Wanting to test its powers, he entered into the tall grass yet again, except oddly enough it said a wild dream and a wild reality had appeared. The Pokemon named Dream was an Umbreon, except its eyes were hollow, and the Pokemon referred to as Reality was an Espeon, with pitch black eyes and crying blood. The wild Dream used Perish Song, but it said a dream cannot perish. Then the wild Reality used Foresight, but nothing happened. The battle continued and his Umbreon used Destiny Bond. The wild Reality refused its destiny, but it was forced to. The protagonist felt the game was doing this on its own almost, and like he had no control. Disturbed, he watched on as it continued. The wild Dream fainted into nothing. The wild Reality used Tears of Pain, and what were all of these moves that he was seeing? Why were they doing these actions? Soon the wild Reality fainted. He turned off his DS and began crying until he fell asleep. And when he woke up, he had hoped that it was all just a terrible nightmare, but when he turned on his game and hit continue, the Umbreon was there, and it just said, "Welcome back, Master. Can we defeat the wild Dream now?" Last but not least, I bring you one final Eevee Creepypasta based on a story written by a user named Scariest Eevee. It's titled Umbreon Smear and involved a demonic Umbreon. In Ilex Forest, there used to be a lake known as Mirror's Edge Lake, and many Pokemon warned the Umbreon never to visit the lake, for that is where their species disappeared. One day the Umbreon's evilings ran off, and while searching for them, the Umbreon came across the Mirror's Edge Lake. It felt thirsty, so it decided to stop for a moment, but when it peered into the lake, its reflection leaped from the water, pulling it in, and out came an Umbreon, but a more possessed looking Pokemon, one that was not the loving mother of its Eevees. Its eyes were demonic, its fur was dark, and when she found an Eevee, the Umbreon began counting 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, and now you shall be 108. It used a Spirit Bomb, destroying its own Eevee, only to return to the lake, waiting for the next trainer, the next Eevee, to consume their soul and live on in Ilex Forest. Travelers, beware. Now with that out of the way, let's get to some of your featured comments from the video titled Top 10 Scariest Pokemon Creepypastas Part 3. Heat Strike Production says, "Johnny is the king of creepypastas." Honestly, I'm starting to like these creepy stories. I'm happy that you enjoy them. Majora Kid says, "A Pokemon creepypasta video on my birthday, best day ever." Well, I'm sure your birthday has passed now, but happy belated birthday to you, and I'm glad that we can make your day even better. Joy Sykes says, "Oh boy, I'm ready for more Johnny Rogers. What about you?" Well, thank you. I hope people are ready for me. And that has been the Scariest Eevee Creepypastas Part 2. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button and comment down below with what Eevee Creepypastas that you found to be the scariest. And if you happen to be new here, don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and if you want any more videos like this one, just hit that playlist on the screen. From Top 10 Gaming, I'm Johnny Rogers, and until next time, take care.